Hey everybody, I'll say hi to every single person, the whole entire face of the planet Earth. This is the last couple of days of summer of 2024, a meteorological summer. Things going great so far on my side. I'm doing great so far. Things are going really well on my side. Things are going great so far. I'll say hi to everyone, the whole entire face of the planet Earth. I'm doing great so far. I'll say hi to everyone. Things are going great so far. And things go really well. I will say hi to everyone in North America, hi to everyone in South America, hi to everyone in Europe, hi to everyone in Asia, hi to everyone in Africa. I will say hi to everyone in Oceania. I will say hi to everyone in Antarctica. I will say hi to everyone in International Space Station. I will say hi to everyone up in outer space. I'm doing great so far. Things are going great on my side. Things go really well. And how was your day for Franco?
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
Good afternoon, Prince George, listeners at CFUR 88.7 FM. Hello, CKUW 959 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and CFBX 92.5 Kamloops, of course. Hello to you viewers on Rogers Television down there on Vancouver Island. This is the Comedeorological Report. I am Joey Only, the host of such report. Said report here in Wells, British Columbia. I live up at 3,935 feet above sea level. That makes me the highest guy in weather in Canada. Yeah, true. So anyways, we're here with our cast of Comedeorological specialists, comedy plus meteorology. That's the study of how much the weather sucks. And we are here with people from across Canada. Of course, we got the fantastic, the wonderful, the world famous Frankie McDonald. He's with us from Sydney, Nova Scotia. And of course, we got Brandon Houck, who's been here since almost the beginning as well, out there in Brooks, Alberta. We got, of course, some of the other regulars like Hank Vliestra and Wilkie, Saskatchewan walking around, and Cowboy Hilding Donaldson up there in Grassy Plains, British Columbia as well. But tonight we got a special guest out there in Ontario as well. Frankie, have you ever met Adam Skinner from Instant Weather?
Adam, I'm Frankie Dole. Nice to meet you. I'm doing great so far. There's a heat wave hitting for Portland, Oregon on Friday.
Nice to meet you, Frankie.
I'm doing great so far. Adam, I'm a YouTuber from Sydney, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Oh, I know. Famous guy.
You know what Adam does, Frankie? So he's got a thing called Instant Weather he does. Want to explain what Instant Weather is to Frankie?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. We've been around since about 2013 with the idea of raising awareness about tornadoes and severe weather. And we live stream when there's, tornado events across Canada and that type of thing as well. So that's pretty much it. We've got a couple of cool apps that I might show some stuff off later on, and that's what we do.
That means Australia's severe weather season starting this month in October, November. It's going to bring
big hail season.
Hail down southeastern Australia.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, it's funny because our developers on one of our apps is actually they're from Brisbane. So
they'll be getting hailstorms because they're severe weather season.
Oh yeah, they're in it for sure. Yeah, they get tornadoes as well too down there. So.
Okay, Frankie, are you ready for the worldwide weather report? We're going to come back and talk to Adam again and again, and we're going to.
Here's my worldwide weather report. Starting off, Sydney, Nova Scotia. There's a high wind to heavy rain aiming towards Sydney, Nova Scotia, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Charlottetown, and New Brunswick, and Newfoundland, and Quebec, and all those places. This Saturday coming, it's going to bring a whole lot of rain. New Orleans, Louisiana. This Saturday coming, it's going to bring a lot of water spills to Great Lakes region in Ontario and all those places like Toronto, Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington, Hamilton, St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, and all those places. It's going to bring a lot of water spills to Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. Then it got really cold area heading for Timmins, Ontario, and may bring some snow in the forecast all across the parts of Northern Ontario. It's going to bring snow in the forecast in northeastern Ontario as well. Then it got lots of snow aiming towards northeastern Ontario and around the Quebec border. It's going to bring lots of snow there. It's going to bring lots of cold air and lots of water spouts because upper level low. It's going to be in Ontario. It's going to drag the storm into Nova Scotia as well. It's going to bring lots of rain in Florida, all across the south coast of the Gulf of Mexico, and things like this, like Texas, Louisiana. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain in New Orleans next week in Louisiana as well. Then it's going to bring lots of rain all across Ontario and all those places in Boston, New York, and Washington, D.C. Then they got another rain heading for Sydney, Nova Scotia Sunday night, and Monday it's going to bring extremely hot weather in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, British Columbia. And Portland, Oregon's in a final heat wave for the year possible before a whole lot of rain starts up again in October. It's going to bring one storm right after another, like Atmospheric River and Pineapple Express heading for Vancouver. They're having their final taste of summer for now. Then it got warm air, cold air fighting each other in Vancouver, British Columbia. It's going to bring lots of hot weather all across Thunder Bay, Ontario next week as well. And Winnipeg's going to get extremely hot weather next week as well. And it's going to bring really hot weather. Thunder Bay, Ontario, Kenora, Ontario, Dryden, all those places. And Central States as well. It's going to bring extremely hot weather. It's going to bring extremely hot weather in California, Oregon, Washington. It's going to trigger a lot of fires in California this weekend coming. It's going to trigger a lot of fires in parts of Nevada, Arizona, and things like this, and Idaho, and Wyoming, and Montana, those places. It's going to bring lots of rain in Central America right now. Lots of rain, thunderstorms in Central America. And in places like in South America, it's going to bring a lot of storm, a lot of wind and rain in Brazil, Argentina. A lot of dry weather. Amazon rainforest is still going on. Lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in Colombia, Venezuela, parts of Ecuador, parts of Bolivia, those places. It's really dry in Peru. It's really dry and windy in northern Chile right now. Lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in southern Chile coastal areas, and a lot of snow up in the mountains of southern Chile. Lots of rain going on in parts of Argentina. Cold temperatures in southern Brazil. Lots of storms coming off the coast of southern Brazil. In the United Kingdom, there's a lot of hot air in England right now. Colder aiming towards England next week. In Wales, Scotland, Ireland, there's a possible snow up in the mountains of Scotland as well. In Iceland, it's got snow in the forecast up in Iceland next week as well. Then it got a lot of rain going on in the Sahara Desert lately. There's a lot of rain in Morocco and all those places right now. Lots of thunderstorms and rain next week in Italy, France, Germany, Croatia, Bosnia, Albania, Greece, and all those places. There's lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Germany, parts of Poland, Belarus, even Moscow is going to get really hot weather. Then it got cold weather heading towards Norway, Finland, and Sweden as well. And Turkey's really hot there. And there's a super typhoon Yagi heading towards southeastern China. And it's going to affect Hong Kong. It's going to hit Vietnam as well. It's going to bring extremely catastrophic strong winds, 200-mile-per-hour winds. May gusts up to over 300 kilometers per hour. Somewhere in China, thunderstorms, rain going on in Wuhan, China, Beijing, China, Taiwan, and all those places. And so parts of South Korea. It's getting really cold in Siberia right now. Yakutsk and all those places in Russia, Magadan, Russia, Magadan, and Chita, Russia. It's still really hot in Mongolia right now. It's going to turn colder in Mongolia soon as well. And typhoon season is kicking up the high gears right now. It's hitting super typhoon Yagi is hitting southern China and southwestern China right now. Lots of rain, thunderstorms going on in Singapore, Malaysia, rest of Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines, Taiwan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, India. They're in the monsoon season right now. They're finishing up the monsoon season in India. Then the monsoon season is going to gradually die off to September. And Mumbai, India, there's lots of rain, thunderstorms going on there right now. It's really dry in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Arab Emirates, and all those places as well. Lots of rain going on in Algeria right now. In Sahara Desert, bringing a lot of rain. There's a lot of tropical waves coming off the west coast of Africa. Lots of rain, thunderstorms in Nigeria and Ghana and all those places, and parts of northern Congo, parts of Uganda, Kenya, South Sudan, in Ethiopia. Lots of rain, thunderstorms going on there right now, including in places like in southern Africa. Lots of dry weather going on in Mozambique and Angola and Namibia and all those places, parts of South Africa. South Africa is in the meteorological spring, so is Madagascar and Mozambique. They be in the rainy season soon. La Reunion and Mauritius Islands and all those places right now. And places like in Australia, they're in the severe weather season in Australia. Then it got some really dry weather in New South Wales, in Northern Australia. And it got some cooler weather in Perth, Australia right now. In Sydney, Australia, not too much thunderstorms going on right now. and they'll be getting a lot more severe weather. Once again, in the October, they'll be bringing a lot of large hail in southeastern Australia, like Brisbane, Australia, and Canberra, Australia, and Sydney, Australia. They will be in the hail season. Then it got some lots of rain going on late next week in Australia. And Southwest Pacific, lots of rain going and cold temperatures in Invercargill, New Zealand, and Christchurch, New Zealand, and Dunedin, New Zealand, and Queenstown, New Zealand. Still snow there right now. But astronomical winter is not over yet. But meteorological winter is over in New Zealand. Warm air, cold air fighting each other. In North Island, New Zealand, it's got cold temperatures and warm temperatures fighting each other, like Auckland, New Zealand, Gisborne, New Zealand, New Plymouth, New Zealand, Hamilton, New Zealand, Nelson, New Zealand, and Wellington, New Zealand. Lots of cold and warm air, cold air fighting each other. They had a 5.5 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Newfoundland. And did you hear about this? The asteroid 2024 Owen headed towards the planet Earth on Sunday, September 15, 2024. Video to be later on in the show.
Is it going to bypass the Earth altogether, Frankie?
Going to bypass the Earth altogether. Video coming up. It's heading towards the planet Earth. And it's starting to get some darkness up in the Arctic already. And starting to get some daylight in Antarctica. Because Antarctica will soon be daylight 24 hours a day.
Here's the part of the show where we get everyone on the Comedeorological panel to ask Frankie a question. You can ask him anything you want. It can be weather. Most of the time it is. But, and we'll start this week with you, Adam Skinner, because you are the guest of honor. Adam Skinner, you have a question for Frankie McDonald this week.
How close is it going to come to the Earth when it passes by? Do you know?
It's going to bypass the Earth.
Okay. Yeah. I'm hopefully pretty far away. Hopefully it doesn't get sucked into our gravity.
Anybody else on the panel? Hank Leister, you got a question for Frankie this week?
I do. Frankie, that was one of your longer spiels yet. And I was wondering, as you were talking, are you looking at stuff on your screen to remember all the things to talk about?
I studied the weather models.
Or are you just doing it off the top of your head?
I study the weather models before I do my weather reports.
Good call.
And you memorized?
I study the weather models first.
It just amazes me that you just go from one to the other so quickly and without hardly even pausing.
Vancouver Island's getting really hot weather. Then they got typhoon in Yagi in China. It's going to affect the Vancouver Island's weather middle to late next week. It's going to bring cold air all the way down to California.
Hauk or Hilding or Mike, do you have a question for Frankie this week?
Oh, yeah. I'll go through my question of the day that I posted earlier today. So, Frankie, what's the difference between supper and dinner?
Those are the same. Some people have pizza for dinner and something else for supper. And some people have hamburger for dinner and pizza for supper.
And some people have omelets for dinner. Some people
Breakfast
have pancakes for dinner.
Beautiful.
Dinner is in the middle of the day at lunchtime.
Okay, we're going to go through weather reports here, and because you're a guest of honor this week, we'll talk about instant weather later on the show when we come back to you, Adam. But let's get a Ontario weather report for this weekend. What's going on down there?
A whole lot of nothing. Actually, there's some storms right now over Manitoulin Island. They look pretty boring at the moment. There's a little bit of lightning though, so that's somewhat exciting. But no weather besides the obviously we have the low coming in, right? So we've got some waterspout action happening, so that's going to be pretty interesting. The ICWR has been forecasting a big waterspout outbreak over the Great Lakes, so that should keep us pretty occupied. And then obviously all the heavy precipitation that's going to be moving, especially in eastern Ontario and Quebec, up that way. So it's going to be a show. We'll see how it goes.
Where are you located again?
I'm in Barrie, so an hour north of Toronto.
You get those warm lakes, and you get that cold air over top, and
and there you go. And
I was saying before the show how places like Brighton, Ontario are particularly, there's like, they call it the Bermuda Triangle of Lake Ontario there, because just crazy things happen. So many boats sink. And now they realize one of the aspects of that area is it tends to get a lot of water spouts.
That will do it. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. These are fair weather water spouts, of course, so they're not like your classic a tornado that just happens to be, supercell tornado that happens to be over the water. This is more of the fair water weather spouts where they look nice from a distance. You don't want to be on the water with them, of course, but usually if you're on shore, for the most part, you're okay. Occasionally one can kind of slip onto shore and do some minor damage, but it's pretty rare.
water spouts in Ontario this week. Brandon Hauk, time for the Brandon Hauk Report.
The Brandon Hauk Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Hauk Report.
Oh boy.
Report,
Okay.
report.
So, yeah, on the weather front of things in the last week, it's been pretty boring around here. If you like sunshine, giggles, and warm temperatures, this is the Brandon Hauk Report that you're going to get. And now, we've had a couple of thunderstorms moving through, I'd say, central region of the province the last couple of days there. A couple of them getting close, even getting up to severe limits there, but nothing too wild on that side of things. A couple of great photos coming out of Lloydminster the other day, Smoky Lake, Westlock areas. And here in the south, as I said, been mentioning, we've been under the upper ridge of high pressure last week. And then the cold front went through, cooled things down yesterday after we got into the low 30s there earlier in the week. And now we're going right back into the 30s, especially for the weekend, with the upper ridge dominating out of the United States there. And we're going to be seeing those temperatures soar through the weekend, at least low to mid 30s for daytime highs is what we're going to go with here in southern Alberta. Probably some areas might get pretty close to 35 degrees Celsius this weekend. So it is going to be a hot one. So for those of thinking about, the first day of school this week, well, this weekend is going to be back to the first day, back to the beach, I guess, for some of you, as we have this extreme heat for much of Western Canada. Now, there might be a couple of thunderstorms Sunday in the BC interior and along the foothills, but nothing too organized at this time. And then looks like we might see a change in the middle of the week there. But yeah, for now, summer mode is continuing well into next week here in southern Alberta. Now, a couple of interesting news stories. I know I've always find the weirdest stuff on the internet, but here we go. So first off, Joey Chestnut, well, he did it again. Labor Day, eating at least 83 hot dogs in 10 minutes. So there's that. And then I also
83?
83 in 10 minutes. So I think that's another world record. I don't know, but
there's no way anyone else has ever done that or should.
And did you hear about this? You're just Brandon, Joey, and I were on Kids and Clump podcast tonight.
Yes, and we did not eat 83 hot dogs on this podcast, just saying.
How did you do in your eating contest, Brandon? You got to what, 3?
I like to take my time, so I might get one down at least in 10 minutes. I don't know. I was in a watermelon eating contest. I did not do very well in that once. I just got watermelon all over me, all down my shirt. It was not great at all. And then one more story from this week. I guess I hear the best city for retirees is Orlando, Florida. That's right. Meanwhile, the worst city is Broken Hip, Texas. There we go. And that's the latest on the Brandon Hauk Report.
Broken Hip, Texas, right. Yeah, okay.
That doesn't exist.
Frankie was saying it's all the word. Rain is like the word of the day internationally, but out here, not so much. It's either rain or heat. Everywhere, it's either hot or raining.
Yeah. Well, we got you, Hank. How is the weather in Saskatchewan?
It's going to be hot and not raining, but it's just nice. It's been a really nice week here in Saskatchewan. We have a nice sunset going over here. I walked through a big field while listening to you guys, a grassy field, and only one mosquito bit me. And I can't believe it, because if I walked through that field a month ago, I would have been 4 steps in and had to turn around, because they would have driven me back out, like, physically pushed me back out of the field, I think. So
it really is the best time of year right now, isn't it?
I love this time of year. I love it even better when the leaves turn yellow, and I'm looking forward to that immensely. Yeah, I have a week off right at the last week of September, and I hope to head up to the Rockies during my week off and do some hiking.
Welcome to my lifestyle.
I'm with you.
If that is, if you break down 51 kilometers from Mainline Road.
Is your vehicle back home now?
Yes, I went back out and got it today. Yeah. So that's a long story. We did get into it in the beginning of the show, and maybe if there's time later on, I'll get to it. But we do have packed amount of people here. Hilding, I got to ask you, what's that fire by Utsa Lake looking like today? There's a lot of smoke warnings going off, and a picture I saw there from John looked very, very intense, man.
Well, I'll just turn my camera on and show you what it looks like out my window. That's what it looks like outside right now. There's a little bit of blue sky showing in the north, which means that there's some wind moving in from the north and west. All day it's just been, everything's gray and yellow, and it was way smokier. About a half an hour ago, smoke lifted up into those clouds.
Yeah, that thing is really torching off. Like, yeah, and that's out in a spot where no one's going to go fight it. It's, it's not even advisable. It's like, why would you put crews at risk to go to a wilderness park? It's
they had it coming down close enough to the lake today that people on this side of the lake were getting notified to watch for ash falling. So there's a potential it could start this side if they're not careful.
Still got a bit of time left with this weather, eh?
Yeah.
Other than that, cattle are good. Everything's good.
No, everything's been pretty good. We got the last of our hay in this week, and we're settling into bringing the cows home in the next couple weeks here, and yeah, as long as things don't burn up here, we can stand a bit of smoke. It was funny, the past 3 days it's been cloudy, and yet it's been still and warm. We rarely have it that it's that still when it's warm. I mean, with no hot sun.
Well, you're lucky because it's been windy as heck here in Wells at times. We hit like 37 at one point today in a gust.
Oh, yeah. No, we had hardly any wind here for the past week.
Especially beyond that flank of the Coast Mountains. Like, I'm a little surprised to hear that. I would thought that's what was, combined with the dry air and very hot temperatures, making that Tweedsmuir fire stand up and go. But
no, but what we've had has been from the south, which comes straight off of the Tweedsmuir fire.
Hello, everyone. Mark Ingalls here in Calgary this week, where I am here for work. Actually, when we record this, which I won't be on, I will be driving to the Oregon coast. It's a big week of travel for me for my 30th birthday. But I am here to tell you about the new way to get the Comedeorological Report, which is we now have it up as a podcast. You can get it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and CastBox. These are the places that we have it going. We put the radio version up, which is about an hour long every week. So yeah, go ahead and search Comedeorological Report. It's under my name, Mark Ingalls. And subscribe through your favorite way. And if you have a different way and they take an RSS feed, I'll try and put that up too. Just let us know. Have a great week, everyone.
Yeah, good to see you, Hilding. Last person before we come back to Adam, Mike McGregor from Manitoba Weather Center, Manitoba. How's Manitoba going this week? How's Winnipeg?
Well, typical. I would say that the last 2 days has been kind of smoky. We've been getting smoke coming in from the United States, northwestern United States, and from BC. I don't know where all the smoke's coming from, but last 3 days air quality's been really bad. I had some breathing problems. I've still got a bit of breathing problems from breathing all that in. I don't have any masks, so I got to look into getting some in case we do get a reflux back of better quality. It's actually quite cool today. It got up to only about 17 or 18 in Winnipeg. We had some light showers in the morning, and then there's some thunderstorms we're supposed to get later on today. But they died out the minute they went over Lake Manitoba. It was like, that's a typical thing that happens when for some reason it's got like a problem with our lakes. The minute that any storm complex goes over and it's not being fed by instability, it dies out. That was the case today. It's been weird though, because last week it was like the last little bit of summer heat, and now we're like flipping back to fall weather, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the trees changing color. One of the things I noticed today is that there's some leaves now that are falling. It's like starting to feel a bit like more like October here with overnight lows. But then, Brandon was mentioning last week it was going to be like a switch over to, heat, humidity, increasing chances for storms and showers. I think that there may even be some summer heat. And I'm thinking if I was in school right now, I'd probably want to skip classes and get out there and enjoy the warmth while it's still around. I'm loving it though. It's been kind of wild though. We haven't had a thunderstorm in about a month, so hope that changes soon for us. I wanted to read something funny. I don't know if you guys read this yet, but robo taxis apparently were honking like absolutely crazy in San Francisco, California, a few weeks ago. Apparently, where they wait between jobs, and they complained about it because said the taxis beeped at each other throughout the night as they parked or set off on a journey, making it hard to sleep. It was a neighborhood area when they moved in, thinking would bring more security and quiet to the area. There's a video of it online. Started with a couple honks here and there, and then as more cars started to arrive, the situation got worse. Cars are robotic and they're honking at each other as there's no one in the cars when it's happening, and it's kind of absurd. You get like self-honking cars, but if that's what's technology's coming to.
So it's like a lot of honking? That's crazy.
They said that at different levels of the most intense honking occurred at around 4 a.m. and rush hour times. It was in a huge parking lot in an apartment complex area. Apparently there was a guy who apparently got stung by 240 wasps. 240 times.
That's what he gets, that guy. All right, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Hank. Thanks, Hilding. Thanks, Hauk. Yeah, and of course, Frankie McDonald.
I'd like to say hi to Joey Only. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey Only.
I'm Frank Dunn. You listen to Comedeorology weather report every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Atlantic. And Joey Only's a really nice guy. He used to work for Vancouver Giants Western Hockey League team. He's a big fan of Prince George Cougars hockey team in Western Hockey League. And Joey Only fights fires in Wells British Columbia. He's a really nice guy. It's on CFUR 88.7 FM Prince George and CKUW 95.9 FM and CFPX 92.5 FM in Caleb Rogers. Cable Access TV in Vancouver Island. Joey Only's a really nice man. He lives in Wells British Columbia. It's on the YouTube channel Caribou Weather Dude. It's on every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic. Joey Only's a really nice guy. I got a lot of fans all the way in British Columbia and Alberta. Best luck to you. I'm Frank Dunn. You're listening to Comedeorology weather report every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey Only.
Okay, let's move on to Adam Skinner. Before we talk about Instant Weather Ontario, I want to ask you, what were your biggest weather stories of Ontario this year, you think, so far?
Oh, wow. I should have prepared something. It's been an interesting season for tornadoes. Actually, one of the really interesting things is that most of the big tornado events just missed us to the south. So Ohio and southern Michigan and New York State. I mean, there were so many times that we had these really strong forecasts right along the international border, and we've been talking about it recently, and it's really interesting. I mean, it's obviously sucks for the folks south of the border, and our thoughts are with all those who are affected. But for Ontario, there were so many times where the setup looked really strong, but it just towed the line. Although there were, multiple tornadoes that touched down in the Fort Erie area, just south of Niagara Falls, and then eventually went right through Buffalo. And there was a tornado that went through Montreal as well too, which was pretty wild. Yeah, it's been an interesting season for sure, but yeah, it was. I've noticed that if those events had have just been slightly further north, things could have been pretty catastrophic for southern Ontario. We did have quite a few tornadoes this year, but it could have been a lot worse. So.
And didn't you set your personal record last year?
I remember a season with 42. I don't know if we beat that last year, but maybe it was either last year or a couple years ago. But I remember there was a pretty recent. Wild season. So, 42, yeah.
Have you guys got more tornadoes in Manitoba? We had about 8 this year.
Yeah, there's been a decent amount. It's been pretty average, I think, pretty much across the country. What about were any confirmed in BC, Joey? I know there was a few storms that looked. I remember you were investigating that one that from that distance, it really looked like a funnel trying to touch down there.
I think we had multiple events that happened, and good luck trying to get anyone to come and look at anything that happens in BC. You know, and this has been my frustration for years, and to the point where I have a little bit of attitude about it.
I'm sure you do, but listen, you know, Northern Tornadoes Project, you know, if there's significant damage in BC, they will be there. So, you know, kudos to Dr. Sills and the whole team there, because if there's something significant, you can betcha they're going to be sending people out west. So
see, the problem is that we don't have, you know, we need some, we want a database of accuracy of what's actually happening out there, right? So it's like when we have these events that seem to keep flying under the radar because they're in remote places and because
remote,
you know, this and that. What it does is it continues to keep the lie to people in BC that thunderstorms are not destructive and possibly damaging. You know, so I have a real beef with that as a person who has been my main goal since I started Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers 10 years ago, to be like, hey, these storms could screw your day up or possibly your life. Like, pay attention. You know, because people in BC have always had this like, oh yeah, it's just the weather.
Yeah, nothing happens here, right? Yeah, it's funny. You know, it's funny you have that same attitude out there, because that's really where it started for me in Ontario. Was, you know, an F4 went through my hometown of Barrie in 1985, May 31st, 1985, and that there's a guy on my hockey team. His birthday is May 31st, 1985. I go, wow, your birthday is the day that Barrie got hit by an F4 tornado. He goes, tornadoes don't happen here. And I'm like, oh man, you know, that's really what it came down to, was like trying to raise awareness, because obviously, you know, it's not Oklahoma up here. It's not, you know, it's not Mississippi. It's not these significant areas. But the problem is that up here, if you're not paying attention, that stuff can sneak up on you. And like you say, you can have a pretty bad day. It can be incredibly dangerous if you're not paying attention to the weather, and those things happen. Whereas down there, they pay a lot more attention to it. They've got multiple news stations that cut into programming. You know, they're really on top of it. But up here, it seems to be a lot more lackadaisical. So
it's the same in Manitoba. Adam, Justin and I were talking. He said we get tornado warnings like crazy in June, July, and no one in Manitoba and our news agencies never cover it. And then I get, you know, people saying, well, tornadoes don't ever hit here. And then, of course, this summer we had a rotating wall cloud with tornado potential going right over Winnipeg in July. And I was like, everyone was caught off guard by that. And I think there needs to be more public awareness for these kinds of things, because it would save a lot of lives in the event something ever hits like a town or city. And, you know, we're fortunate we have education for tornado drills in schools, but once you get in the adulthood, it's kind of nonchalant.
When we have a Vancouver, Washington, the 1973 event, they had an F3 tornado go through there in Oregon and Washington. And we have something like that finally happen in BC. Everyone's not going to know what to do. It's going to be off their radar completely. So that's my beef, is that we keep having thunderstorms that are either producing limited and brief F0 tornadoes, and there's no record of it. We're like, hey, look, it's happened. Zero record.
It's funny you say that, because I was actually, so back to Dr. Sills from the NTP. I'll bring you way back. He actually moved down the road from me 11 years ago or something like that, like literally 10, 15 houses from me. And then I was teaching guitar lessons at the time, and drum lessons and vocal lessons. And he said, hey, do you want to come teach my kids guitar and drums? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then so we became good friends because of that. I ended up actually playing drums on his album, and we're eating sushi in like Waterloo. Me, him, and his brother, who was the bass player. And he goes, so I'm going to leave Environment Canada. And I almost spit out the drink. I was in the middle of a drink when he said it too. And I almost spit it across the table. I'm like, what? I'm like, this guy's like Dr. Tornado. He's, you know, the most reputable tornado scientist in Canada. And he says he's going to leave Environment Canada. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he goes, I'm going to be the executive director of the Northern Tornadoes Project. And I'm like, tell me more. And once he explained it all, I'm like, I think you should do it. Like, I think this is amazing, because as opposed to, you know, a survey being done 2 weeks after, the NTP is like on the ball. You know, they're sending people on planes the next day. But the thing, like what you're talking about though, and the thing that happens as well too in like northern Quebec, is all of these unverified, like undocumented tornadoes. But what actually they're doing is they're actually using extremely high resolution satellite data to find those paths. So Joey, if you want to put together, like especially that storm, the one we were talking about before, if you want to put together the path of that one, to go back in historical radar and like try to put together the path for that one and send it over to me, I'll shoot it over to Dave and he'll have his team go back and look at the satellite data to see if he can find any tree damage.
That'd be interesting. I think the one in Kamloops we won't find any because of it's on the summit. Your best chance would have been to go there after and find,
something.
Clues. Yeah, you know what I mean? I think for some of the other ones
Joey,
you've had.
I also have direct contact with Northern Tornadoes Project. I've been messaging them off and on this summer. There have been funnel clouds within the city limits here, and they said we appreciate your reports. So I would try to contact them directly on Twitter if you can, because they're on Twitter too, and I think I've been in touch with Adam a few times about people posting videos of funnel clouds. I'm like, does this look like a tornado? So
I appreciate that, Michael.
Yeah, I think there needs to be some better contact. I can get something organized for you, Joey.
Oh, they're very easy to keep in touch with. We're an Instant Weather's official partners with the NTP because like a vast majority of storm reports come out of our wonderful communities, and so that's kind of why we partnered. But we also partnered with them to create Instant Weather Pro, which I'll dive into in a few minutes if you'd like me to, because we've added some pretty cool features I think you might like.
We will be talking about that for sure.
Anyways, but we're in a messenger chat with them all the time. So if you ever have any evidence or something like that, shoot it to me. I'll shoot it to them and get it right to Dave.
Good. I think that the thing is we're in a situation in Canada where things are changing. New things are happening. There's more people seeing things that in places that weren't there to see them before. We're getting better idea, better understanding, right? So things are really changing right now, and we need federal resources to reflect that. And I feel like a previous government came through and did a lot of slashing to organizations like Environment Canada and made things difficult for them. And I don't know if that's really ever since been, even with the new government, expanded upon, especially. So it's like we need more funding for everything.
Yeah, they're very underfunded.
We need more people available to go out and do these things, right? To go out and be able to do verifications and blah, 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 right? So we just need more. That's all. Just need more of everything. Okay. We need more of instant weather. Talk about instant weather.
Instant weather is, like I said, started it back in 2013 to raise awareness about tornadoes and severe weather. And it's been a journey. I didn't realize we actually started during what is considered the golden era of every social media platform has a golden era, which I didn't realize until way after the fact. And the golden era is when there's more people looking at it than there is content being made. And so that's why a big part of, I think, why we blew up from like 0 to 100,000 followers in Ontario within like 2 years was just, I didn't realize 2013, 2014, those were like, now mind you, we also had 30 tornadoes that year. And, there was a lot going on. So that obviously helps. But to be in that kind of golden era, same thing with Justin and Manitoba Weather Center, it's the timing of when he started it is just didn't realize, that's the golden time. So that's a big part of, I think, why we blew up. But of course, we try our best to track tornadoes across the country and try to give a notification, a heads up to tornado potential, forecasting as well too. So all of that has been it's been quite a journey, but I think it's been quite helpful. We try to complement what Environment Canada does because obviously they are significantly underfunded, and no system is perfect. Environment Canada is not perfect. We're not perfect. There's stuff that we miss. There's stuff that they miss.
Their forecasters are good.
Their forecasters are great. Yeah, for
nothing
sure.
Against them.
No, absolutely. But the more eyes that are on radar at any given time, Brandon's always watching radar like nonstop. There's so many times that I've seen Brandon post storm and I'm like, where, what, and he's just on the ball watching, like, I don't know how you do it. I'm watching every radar all at once. It's like, he must have screens. He must put on a VR headset and just see every single radar in front of him or something. Which we will develop eventually, but yeah, it's those things are super helpful. So I appreciate Brandon and Michael and the team over at MWC. You renamed it though, right? So what is it? What's the actual name? I keep messing it up. What is it, Michael?
The Weather Center in Manitoba now. It's officially
the Weather Center of Manitoba.
Yeah, that's what it's called now.
You just swapped it, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, you and Justin, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so we've been developing some pretty interesting things. Did you want me to dive into them at all? I could jump into Instant Weather Pro. You want me? All right, I got it all prepped here. So I got it all in OBS, so I can just flip my screen to this, and then you can see what's going on here. So this is Instant Weather Pro, and the reason we built it initially was because the Northern Tornadoes Project came to us and said, hey, there's no app built by Canadians that is really Canada focused. You know, is there a pro radar suite that you could build? And I'm like, maybe. And so we talked about it for a while, and then we finally kind of just pulled the trigger on it and went for it. And it's been a 3-year journey of building it so far. But you know, the idea is that if you look at other apps, there's only 30 days historical Canadian data. So that was a big problem for the NTP, because if somebody calls them up and says, oh yeah, we had damage that happened 7 months ago, or there's some report, there's some video that comes out, right? They have to go back and look at that, and there was no other way to do it. So basically from April 2021, we've been saving every single radar frame. So we had to purchase, at the time, extremely expensive Environment Canada radar data. And database it. So we've had to save all of this Canadian radar data. So if you have Instant Weather Pro, you can see all the way back to 2021. In the States, you can get all the way back to like 1997, I think, but depending on which radar station as they went up. But for Canada, we've got data back like 4 years, which is pretty helpful. So we can go back to any historical Canadian event that happened and go see what happened during that. So we've done some pretty cool stuff though. So I know there's all this AI hype right now. I like to I've actually gone the opposite way. We just refer to it as machine learning, even though that's, you know, there's basically kind of two types of AI. There's machine learning and there's deep learning. So deep learning is like feed it as much data as possible, like ChatGPT, and then you get some answer out of it. Machine learning is a little bit more specific. So we've actually added some really cool machine learning features where you can kind of click on a storm, and so you can see, we call it IW storm risk, and you can see the total severe risk, the tornado risk, the severe wind risk, and the severe hail risk on every single storm, and it updates every 2 minutes across Canada and the US.
That is awesome.
And it's really awesome. And this is based on the rotation, the echo tops, like how tall it is, the lightning density, lightning intensity. Is the lightning increasing? Is it decreasing? What the rotation values are at the mid-level and the low levels. You know, what the hail is like in it. There's so many factors to it. And it's been really interesting. If you might notice that it says 0.01% tornado risk, the model spits out a 0. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. So we put 0.01 on all of them that basically means 0, but we're covering our butts because like land spouts can't be detected on radar, really. Like sometimes you get that really weak rotation. I'm sure, Brandon, you know, because, you know, AB gets more land spouts than pretty much anybody. But, and some of the most picturesque ones. Oh my goodness! But yeah, sometimes you get that really weak meso that happens to, like, it's like actually Dave calls it a hybrid. It's a land spout tornado, but it just happened to spawn instead of just under just a basic boring thunderstorm. It spawned under a slightly rotating. So that's how you get like Three Hills and stuff. That's how you get those wild looking where it looks like this big supercell tornado, but it's actually a hybrid between a land spout and a supercell. So, but yeah, those ones you really can't detect through basic detection, right? You can't. There's no strong meso. There's no multi-layer meso. So that's why we put 0.01 just to cover our butts, just in case land spouts happen. We'll work on that.
Any thunderstorm could, in theory, produce a tornado.
In theory, yeah, absolutely, for sure. If the
Kind of
conditions are there.
reminds me of one thunderstorm I had this summer. No tornado potential, and it still brought out a little baby funnel cloud.
Yeah,
you can have something
exactly.
like that happen out of any basic garden variety thunderstorm. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right. It's those non-supercell events, right? That they're the trickiest too, because you can watch radar all day, and you know, on those days, my attention is off of radar, and my attention is all to the reporting groups. You know what I mean? It's just like if you're gonna see, like I saw everybody's head nod at the same time. I saw Brandon and Joey at the same time, because that's what it is. It's like if it's gonna be on Twitter, if it's gonna be on Alberta Storm Reports, it's gonna be somewhere. You know, that's where that report is gonna be coming from. So those are the days to watch that kind of stuff. So one thing we added too, which is really cool, is we added Canadian storm tracks, which has never existed before. So right now they go up to just about south of Calgary, but we're gonna extend it. Right up, we're about to 51 or 52, but we're gonna extend it to 55 north, so it'll actually be north of Edmonton eventually. But yeah, so actually Canadian storm tracks, which have never existed, because we always have to, if you're along the international border, right, you're always using like the U.S. storm tracks to kind of, and they can be iffy, and these can be iffy as well too, but they've actually been pretty good. So But yeah, so Canadian storm tracks as well too. So that's kind of some fun stuff we've added. Another really interesting thing too that's never existed before in Pro Radar tools is the ability to swipe back and forth between. Hold on a second. Now we're at it. Why is this 104 kilometers an hour? I thought this was going to be a pretty boring storm. What radar am I on? I'm on Brit.
There's like a little bit of a tail there.
It's got a little. It's like turning into a little bit of a hook.
Yeah.
Should I do a live notification right now? Hold on. Let me go look at the environment. I might get a little distracted here while we're on the live stream, but
0.01% chance.
At 0.01. What did the wind say though? Hold on. Let's see what it said. So wind was only 2. So you know what? I bet you it's elevated. I'm gonna go take a peek, but I'm pretty sure it's elevated right now. But I gotta go check out mesoanalysis right now while we're here because that got real interesting real fast. Probably because I said things were boring. In Ontario, that's exactly I totally jinxed it. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of inhibition. There's no supercell. There's no VTP inhibition. There's no non-sup. They're probably elevated from what I can tell. There's lots of inhibition. So probably elevated. Those are pretty strong winds up in the air. Actually, this is pretty close to... Oh, it's over the water. Okay. So it's just like it's getting a little bit near Tobermory.
But you're on there.
What about the Frankie video? So this week I sent you earlier.
Well, that's right, Frankie. We do need to make some time for Frankie videos yet this episode.
That's okay. Do it. If you want to do it, go ahead.
Yes.
Anyone got questions for Adam?
Yeah. How much money is that Instant Weather Pro right now?
So IW Pro is $99 for the year, which is like $825 a month. We don't have a monthly option yet, but we're just about to add it. We had to add like a login system and stuff because Teresa and her team is actually like sending instructions out by hand. And if we had a whole bunch of monthly subscribers, that would be it would be horrifying for her to have to deal with all the people that are subscribing and unsubscribing and trying to manage that, right? So, but we've automated that whole thing, and so probably within, I would say, about 2 weeks, maybe less, we're going to add Instant Weather Pro to the Instant Weather app. So if you have the app, you'll be able to use the website version. So this is actually just a website. I'm just inside of Google Chrome right now. So, which is actually really nice. So if you have like 3 monitors, you know, normally with every other Pro Radar app, you have an executable file and that's it. So if you want to switch radars, you got to scroll over and get to the next radar. With ours, you can actually just have as many Chrome tabs open as you want. So you could have, for Brandon, there's like your main 4 radars, right? If you're in Alberta or if you're covering Saskatchewan, there's only a few of them, right? So you could basically put one up on every kind of screen if you have multiple screens. So and depending on obviously how powerful your computer is, but it's nice to be able to have multiple radars up at the same time and not be limited to like that one executable file. So so it's $100 for the year. And it's been wait, I got to show you one more thing quick before we go to Frankie's video. We added Environment Canada's forecasts to it. So actually I can open up the menu here and we can go to thunderstorm forecast. So we have day 1, night 1, day 2, and day 3. Right now we're on day 1, as you can see, right? So I know I've been wanting this for so long, and we finally did it. So so we've got the environment, and you can also just click right on it, and you can get all the details right here too. So you can see the weather threat's moderate, thunderstorms are isolated, wind gusts 90 kilometers an hour, and hail risk 3 centimeters. So it'll say if there's tornado risk. It'll do the dashed line just like on the Environment Canada ones if there's a funnel cloud potential. And we've matched their colors and everything too. So we're trying to keep it as perfect to their forecast as it is. But it is their polygons. We're getting the polygons right from Environment Canada now. So they have that as an option. So we've taken that, and I guess we're the first app that has used their forecast.
That'll be really good for next year's storm season.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. It's pretty cool. I mean, you're almost at that place now where a lot of us are going to be like, well, do we really need radar scope?
And what about the Frankie videos?
Okay.
We need those Frankie videos. We need those Frankie videos.
Time, everybody. We do have some Frankie videos this week to get through too, and there's some really good ones too. Like I've been kind of stoked on these videos all week, so I think it is time for Frankie. You ready for the Frankie videos this week?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Buddy. Everyone's ready.
This is Frankie McDonald, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major heat wave is headed towards Portland, Oregon on Friday, September 6, 2024. Temperature is going to be really high. It's going to be well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That's above 37 degrees Celsius. And Portland, Oregon, surrounding areas is also going to affect Slam, Oregon, Uji, Oregon, and Medford, Oregon, and interior Oregon, including coastal areas of Oregon. I want everyone to wear your sunscreen, hats, and sunglasses. Do not wear dark color clothes. Wear light color clothes. When you go for a walk, don't walk too far during heat waves in Portland, Oregon. Make sure you have your everything ready. Drink a lot of water. Have your fans and air conditioners ready. Turn on your fans and air conditioners. Keep the house cool. Head to the beach. Go swimming to get cooled off. For people living in Portland, Oregon, and the surrounding areas as well. Temperature's going to be really hot on Friday, September 6, 2024 for people living in Portland and the surrounding areas as well. Be extra prepared. Don't walk too far. Drink a lot of water. Limit your outdoor activities for people living in Portland, Oregon, including Vancouver, Washington, and surrounding areas as well. If everybody lives in Portland, Oregon, be prepared for a massive heat wave on Friday, September 6, 2024. Take care, stay safe. Don't get too hot, stay cool, be safe. Hey everybody, let's do a tornado siren.
Come on, everyone, let's do a tornado siren. Hooray! Come on, Brandon. Hooray! Come on, Mike. Adam, you got tornado siren.
Yeah, we'll do the Chicago one.
Okay, guys, we're gonna do the
vampire's back for radio listeners, and he's drinking green tea. Once again, everybody, it's Halloween season's coming because the vampire is trying to drink green tea. Do not laugh at the vampire when he's trying to drink green tea because he will bite you. He's a vampire. And yeah, you're spilling a little bit there, vampire, but that's okay. He's got his cape on. He's got his teeth in there. He's hissing. And tea is pouring out of his mouth. Where normally you might see blood pouring out, instead it's tea. This is one of those tea drinking vampires.
Better not be garlic tea.
Oh yeah, he's a very terrifying vampire drinking green tea, everybody. Do you think it's hot, Frankie? You think the vampire's got hot tea? Is it hot, Frankie? Just down in that tea relentlessly, viciously, like a monster drinking tea would, you know. How do monsters drink tea? Like the whole cup as fast as they can.
The asteroid 2024 Owens headed towards the planet Earth on Sunday, September 15, 2024. It's going to bypass the Earth by 620,000 miles from the planet Earth. It's about 2.6 times the distance of the moon. I want everyone to look up the asteroids up in the sky. If it's a clear sky out that night, make sure to search for the asteroid up in the sky and make sure you have your telescopes and binoculars ready. But the asteroid's going to miss the Earth. Asteroid 2024 Owens going to bypass the Earth altogether. It's going to miss the Earth altogether. I want every single person to look up the asteroid up in the sky 2024 Owen. That's the name of the asteroid. On Sunday, September 15th, 2024, make sure to look up the asteroid up in the sky 2024 Owen. It's going to bypass the Earth altogether. Be prepared. If it's a clear sky that night, be prepared to look up the asteroids. Have your binoculars and telescopes ready. Be prepared. Be safe.
Okay, the guy's gonna be dancing this time.
Okay, guys, let's do some dancing. Let's show me my moves.
There he goes. He's doing his moves right now. He's dancing. He's got the spin going on. Feet going, hands going, dancing around. Nice day in the park there behind him there for you radio listeners. Nice cumulus clouds. He's dancing underneath them there. Nice.
Sounds like airplanes are coming. Oh my God, lots of airplanes are after me now.
Oh no. The airplanes are after him.
More airplanes after me.
There just happens to be more airplanes after him.
There's a lot of airplanes after me now.
There's a lot of them even.
There's even more airplanes after me now.
Even more now. How many, Frankie?
There's a whole lot of airplanes.
Oh, a whole lot.
There's a ton of them.
A ton. Yeah, he's spinning around because of the airplanes.
Out in a vortex, I think.
Got the Frankie spins going on. Oh, Frankie spinning. Don't get dizzy, Frankie. He's spinning relentlessly like a tornado. He did the tornado sign, and now he's doing the tornado.
Anticyclonic.
Wow. The airplane finally got away.
The airplane's finally got away.
Thanks for watching, Frankie. Okay, guys, let's do an airplane sound.
Let's do an airplane sound, everybody. What do you got, Brandon?
Oh, we got something like that.
Adam, let's hear your airplane sound, Adam.
That's all I got.
Hailing, let's hear your airplane sound. That's pretty good. Frankie, let's hear your airplane sound.
Is that a jet? Sounds like a jet.
Okay, guys, let's do some dancing.
The guy's doing some dancing. Moves. He's showing you his moves now. Hands up in the air, hands up in the air. Now comes the spins. The first spin. Hands up in the air some more.
Oh my God, there's helicopters coming.
Helicopters.
You radio listeners can't see this, but there's helicopters.
More helicopters are coming.
For you radio listeners, more helicopters are coming for him right now.
A lot of helicopters after me now.
I like his shirt. Blue Jays.
Yeah, man. Jays weren't that good this year. Frankie's been much better than the Blue Jays. I guess they were a little better this last month, I should say. Once there was no chance.
Exactly.
Frankie's spinning around there. That's about 25 rotations, 27, 20, 32 now, 40, 48, 60 rotations Frankie's just done. And he's still going, everybody. No one can spin quite like Frankie. That was 85. He's pretty dizzy. Don't fall over. Buddy.
Thanks for watching it right now.
Excellent videos this week, Frankie. Excellent videos.
And if you want to follow me on social media, my blue sky is at Frankie MacD. My ex, formerly known as Twitter, is at Frankie MacD. My link tree is Frankie McDonald. My Facebook is Frankie McDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD1984. My TikTok is FrankDown1984. My Clapper is FrankDown1984. My Twitch is FrankDown1984. My Snapchat is Frankie MECDON. My YouTube channel stocks wolves, and my LinkedIn is Frankie McDonald. Best luck to you. I'm Frankie McDonald. You're listening to Comedeorology Weather Report every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic. Vancouver, you can't escape major earthquakes forever.
People of Vancouver, you can't escape from major earthquakes forever. Even people in Japan, you can't either. That's the Comedeorological Report for this week. I'm Joey, only here in Wells, British Columbia. Thank you, all you listeners at C488.7, Prince George, CKUW 959, Winnipeg, CFBX 925, Kamloops, and Rogers television viewers out there in Vancouver Island. We had this week special guest Adam Skinner from Instant Weather Ontario, but of course, the regular cast of Frankie, the star of the show, Frankie McDonald, doing the airplane sound and the tornado, giving you the world weather. We had Brandon Houck out there in Brooks, Alberta. Of course, always got to have Brandon Houck, or there wouldn't be a show without the Brandon Houck Report. Hilding Donaldson, the cowboy out there in Grassy Plains. Mike McGregor out there. He's out in Manitoba. He's in Winnipeg, Manitoba. He's from the Weather Center, Manitoba. We had Hank Fleister earlier with us briefly, and the sun went down, so Hank went in. That's the show this week. At least that's the show for you. The live stream may continue a little longer here on Joey Only Care About YouTube channel.
That's the show.
That's the show. That's the show.
That's the
show.
show.
That's the show.
That's the show.
That's the show.
I think that's the show.
That's the show.
Oh no, I stopped the live stream, not the recording. Oh.
Hey everybody in the whole entire face of planet Earth, I'm doing great so far. Today is the last day of summer in my area, August 31st, 2024. That's the last day of unofficial summer, the last unofficially day of summer. Things are great so far. I'm doing really well. I'm having a great day. Things are going great so far on my side. Things are going really well. I'll say hi to everyone in the whole entire face of planet Earth.